Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I've been following this whole Domo and Chrissy thing for a while. Mostly watching other YouTube videos. I haven't witnessed it from their accounts, but it's been messy, my friends. I like how some of my friends, 18 subscribers that I have, probably no one watches from those 18 subscribers. Um, we're gonna see this because I just it has 7, I can't even read numbers. You can see it on the screen. It has way more likes than dislikes, which I like. So, okay, let's get on with it. So, wish I never met you. Okay. But lower the volume just a little bit.
Lie so much. I really try to figure that shit out, and I really can't figure it out. Why fucking lie? Dumbass bitch. Shit, I left you.
Also, I don't really know. Like, I've been copyrighted before for a trailer reaction video that I did, and so I don't really know how to not get copyrighted. So I'm gonna follow another video that I watched that they just kind of like paused a lot. So we're gonna see. Okay.
I met you, bitch, you fucked up. You hit the jackpot with me, bitch, you lucked up. But you one another bitches got me fucked up. But you got me over here screaming, fuck love.
Like, it's, how do I explain this? It's really, part of me is kind of like very happy that she's like putting this all out there, and she's kind of like, I think she's held a lot. She's kind of put everything inside, and now having this song and it being out and her being like 100% transparent from her side of the story, because obviously there's always two sides, and you know, but either way, I applaud Damo for being open and for sharing her truth and her feelings and her perception of the situation, and just you can feel the heartbreak. You can feel how much it affected her, because from my understanding, they got together young, like when they were really young, and they dated for like, they were engaged even, so like it was this big thing. And you know, I saw a lot of people talking about that, you know, they rushed a little, like I don't remember I don't know what video I was watching, but a YouTuber was talking about how the most important thing that their mother had taught them, that a relationship, oh, I think it was Melissa, you know what, no, I'm not gonna say her name because what if it wasn't her. Anyways, that relationship has stages, and that you should kind of like live and accept and enjoy those stages, you know, like there's like the first being together and then living together, and then you know, kind of like the that type of stuff, you know, kind of milestones that you're gonna like appreciate or live through. Whereas I feel like Chrissy and Damo kind of, I'm not rushed, but did a lot in such a short time period, you know, baby, marriage, almost marriage at least, so it was a lot to take in. And I feel like, I mean, it works for some and it doesn't work for others. Like, for example, my parents, about like 6 months after knowing they got married, they've been together for a while. You know, other people they've dated, like, I know they're a friend that their parents dated for 3 months and they're still together, and it's been like 40 years. So, I mean, it depends. It varies depending on the relationship and all your stuff, but you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's continue.
You never loved me, and I see it in your eyes, though. I was dumb enough believing all your lies, ho. Said she was just a friend, but now she in your thighs, yo. I tried to turn her fucking hoe into a one.
Okay, the whole like not seeing love in your eyes, that is like, I could feel that like pitchfork in my heart, because that's like one of my biggest fears. And like, it's just putting so much into a relationship, putting so much trust and being so vulnerable, and just like your heart is literally in the person's hands, and the risk is that they don't love you anymore, that you're nothing, or that they crush you. And it's like this, it's a lot, you know. It's, I understand that a lot of people who love and who are just like very open and, you know, head over heels, not like they go head first and just like throw themselves in it. But I feel like for me personally, and I do feel like this is for a lot of people, is that love is scary. It's a lot, and putting so much in someone else's hands is scary. It's kind of like taking control out of your hands and just hoping that the person, you know, keeps your heart safe. And so like I know this sounds corny, but like I felt that. And ugh. And the whole wife thing right there, it's like, you know, she was gonna, like, they were gonna get married, they weren't just dating, and yes, they had a baby, but like, it was gonna be her wife, and then it was just like, oh no, like, bye. Oh, that's the fear, like, because from what I kind of understand is that Chrissy fell out of love before, way before Damo did. And so, oh, heartbreak.
Bro, damn bitch, you done fucked up bad. Go be ringing on my phone when you see what you had, and I'ma block, skin, delete, and say, oops, my bad. And when she fucking breaks your heart, I hope you cry.
I get it, you know, when you're this, like, open wound, you're kind of, what's the word, vendative? No, not vendetta. Vengative. I'm confusing Spanish and English, and now I don't know any language. When you're kind of like wanting to find revenge, or wanting to the person to experience the same emotions that you do, where you wish like at least that they went through the same thing, like I understand that, and that's kind of like the first step that you go through. But ultimately the most mature option is just being like, you know what, I'm going through my life, I'm doing this, I'm like successful, and you forget about the other person. And I think that's the best thing, is just kind of pretend as more, and obviously it's different because, you know, like Chrissy, you know, is a parent to Dominic, so obviously it's different. But like in a situation when you're in a relationship and you break up, I feel like the most ideal thing, if it's like a breakup like Damo and Chrissy without the baby, just like, you know, like that, is to pretend like that person died. And I know that sounds so like, but I had a friendship that we were friends for 8 years, and then I got dumped. And to me, I had to pretend like that person died, because I couldn't talk to that person anymore. When I saw something that reminded me of them, I couldn't talk to them because they just kind of cut me off. Not cut me off, but they were like, you know, we're not friends anymore. I'll still talk to you, but they never talk to me type of situation. And so I didn't want to put myself back into that kind of not toxic, but just bad friendship, friendship, whatever. And so I feel like that works for certain people, especially if it didn't end on good terms. So I'm a block, scan, delete.
I hope she uses you for money, hope she sucks you dry. I hope she leaves you and don't tell you you won't understand why. I hope she texting other bitches while you laying at night. I hope you crying every day while she playing.
Like, that is so sad. And like I'm saying, like I said before, this is all, my brain is like going 4 thoughts at the same time, and it's not coming out. Like, this is all Damo's perception. This is all, you know, her story, her. And it's just like, to know that someone that you loved, and someone that was like is the mother of your child, and but in that aspect before of like being the mother of your child in a more warmly loving way, and it's just so heartbreaking, because like she now sees it in a different light, that the whole years of relationship, of trust, was just based on what she sees of just, you know, for money. And like, going back to me, oh my god, that's so cringy. I hate myself. I have had friendships where they've blatantly told me, like months later, they're like, oh no, it's just you know, you had money. And this is when I was a kid. Like 12-year-old me was like, wow. That's when my trust issues started. But yeah, people will see that you have something and will just want to be friends with you so they can get it. And it's heartbreaking, and it shatters you, and you're just like, I can't trust people, and I can't be open with people. And it's just, and can you imagine, and this is friends, but can you imagine love, like someone that you loved? And the fact that I hope she's texting other while you laying at night, I hope you cry every day. So that means, like, essentially saying that that's what happened to Damo, that she knew that Chrissy maybe wasn't faithful. This is all allegations, so I'm not saying that, blah blah blah. And that she, this is so sad.
Life, I was blind. Everybody told me what it was, but I ain't fucking listen, cause
this is like an issue that everyone has, is that people will tell you like, oh, your partner's doing this, your partner blah blah, and the majority of people will not listen to you. Like, I have someone, I don't know, I'm like thinking if I could say it or not, but probably not, so let's just not. But I know someone that they knew that their boyfriend cheated, and like they weren't fine with it, but they forgave them, you know. and that's it, that's done. For me, if I'm your friend and you tell me I'm going to forgive this person, there's not much I can do, because it's your life and you're the person living it. And if you take the decisions. Like, I'm not gonna be there to, like, and I know it sounds like, what a shitty friend, but no, you have to understand that people have to live through a certain pain to understand things. And this friend I'm talking about, she lived that pain, and now they're not together anymore. But you can't force people to see the truth, or not the truth, but the reality, I guess, because they don't want to, and you can't force them. And like I said, some people just have to experience it. And I know a lot of people where they'll be like, you'll tell them, oh, by the way, I saw your boyfriend cheating on someone. They won't believe you. You can show them video proof, whatever. They won't believe you. They won't care. And it's good, and it goes vice versa. Men sometimes are just like, oh, no, or like, oh, it's fine. It's a hard line to understand, and obviously it depends if you know your friend enough to know how they're going to react, because there will be people who will cut you out of your life. Like, there were situations where you tell them, like, oh my god, I saw your boyfriend, kissing someone else, and they'll be like, what? And so they'll get mad with their boyfriend, they'll talk with their boyfriend, and they'll get back together, and then you're the villain. So it really is kind of like, people, like it says, people are blind. People want to believe what they want to believe, and they don't want to be hurt, or they don't want to, there's some people who are very prideful and don't want to, like, break up because, like, oh, he cheated on me. Like, no. And
Thought I was in love. I wish I never met you, bitch. You fucking killed my buzz. You ain't have a fucking reason. You play me because you could.
This must be, like, so heartbreaking, of like I said, the whole, like, years being together, and then wishing that you never met her or that person because they ruined you. Like, that they made you believe that love isn't true, that that everyone sucks. And I feel like that happens in a lot of, like, not a lot, but sometimes there's always that one breakup that's just kind of like and makes you believe that there's nothing else in life. And I feel like this is what Domo is going through. And I think it's not something that's just for young people, like, as in young people, when I mean, like, teenagers, because relationships for, like, teenagers are, like, very dramatic. I think anyone can go through a dramatic breakup in their life, be it if they're 50 or 40. It just depends on what the person is, who the what type of person the person is, and how it ended, what were their intentions, and I think those kind of all play into it.
Blind. Everybody told me what it was, but I ain't fucking listen because I thought I was in love. I wish I never met you, bitch. You fucking killed my bud. You ain't have a fucking reason. You play me because you couldn't.
Also, this is a really good song. Like, I like it.
Bitch, gonna talk your shit. Said I ain't do a thing for you, girl. You soft as shit. Stop fucking walking around bougie like you bought the shit. I fucking gave you what you got, bitch.
That must feel also like horrible. Like, one is knowing that people, like I said, allegations, blah blah blah. One is knowing that people use you for money or for the advances that you have, be it just influences or economic, whatever. But then knowing that that person is gonna act like you were nothing, like you were just a stepping stone, like, oh god, that must be so much, like, anger. Because can you imagine just like, no, like, oh, you were my personal bank. And I think it's not, I don't know, if you're in a relationship and the person, like, is like, I don't want to say bank because that comes off like, but just be honest and just be like, yeah, that was what that was, and it's not that. I don't know. It's just like, why, like, why pretend that that wasn't what it was? I'm not saying, like, everyone who, I'm not wording this properly. A relationship is equal, and that doesn't mean it's always 50-50. People go through tough times, and so, for example, one time in your relationship, you're going through a tough time economically or whatever, and you're like, I can't pay half of the rent, and so the other person will pay for like that part of the rent you can't pay for, stuff like that. And for you to be like, oh no, you should be open enough and, like, honest enough, and it shouldn't feel weird, and it shouldn't be like, oh, you owe me money or I owe you money. It should just be like, you know what, we're helping each other out, we're in a relationship, we're, like, one or whatever. Is this too, like, idealistic of me? Am I just too, like, do I have, like, an not down to earth standard of relationships? Probably. How do I know?
off the shit. Switch it up when you got your own girl and me alone. Say you grown, playing on my phone. Don't end up alone, cause every time that I come over, you be trying to fuck. But you got a girlfriend, bitch, you wild as.
This was the only part where I was kind of like, is how truthful is this? And I don't want people to think like Domo, like I'm trying to like, no. But it's funny because if this is like 100% legitimate, blah blah blah. Chrissy has always kind of said that she's not interested, that she fell out of love, and that she hasn't loved her for like months, years, and that she's not even like, she acted like Domo was just like nothing in a sense of like attraction or love or whatever. And for her to be like, it's like, dude, like how can you break someone's heart and then being like, But like I said, we don't know if this part is like true, but if it is, like, plus Chrissy has a girlfriend and it's just like,
I don't trust you. Look at what you doing to your girl. You showing her off for trying to lick my pearl. And when I fucking decline, you claim that she's your world. And how you never ever felt this with no.
The thing with you never felt this with, that must be like so, like I get if you had like a bad breakup and like if, the thing is they didn't have, how to explain this because they've had like an up and down, like at first there was a happy breakup and there was a bad breakup and now it's like a freaking category 1 horrible breakup. But like I think every relationship teaches you something. I don't know, do I have an unrealistic standard of romance? I think every relationship teaches you something good or bad. And so I think depending on what that other person did, telling them that you know nothing compares to them, like how to explain this? Okay, the situation with them is different because from what Domo was saying, Chrissy wasn't really faithful at the end of the relationship, wasn't really like at the beginning, wasn't there for like the right reasons. And then Chrissy goes and says that she's never felt this love being with Domo, who they were going to get married and have a kid. So it's like, I understand that with your new relationship, they're like, you always kind of like want to upgrade, I guess. That sounds so like inhumane, but you always want to like strive for a better relationship in the future and stuff like that. And so I understand where you can say like, oh, like I love you so much, like I've never loved someone like, but just like, I guess read the room, understand context, you know, like it's like there are moments, and I'm not saying that you have to keep your relationship hidden or, you know, but just be empathetic, be sympathetic, just understand that, you know, like for example, and I know it's completely like a 180 example, but like Pete Davidson blocked Ariana Grande because for him to like be able to mourn her or like mourn the relationship, he had to block her because he couldn't see, you know, how do you get over someone if you're seeing them on social media kind of situation, you know? And so I feel like that is helpful, and they even have each other blocked, but they still did not do anything. They should have followed Pete and Ariana's endship. Okay, so what am I doing? Oh yeah. Oh, you're showing her off but trying to lick my pearl. Oh.
Girl, bitch. I'm fucking tired of you, ho. I really wanted to be proud of you, ho. They see your colors cause your attitude, ho. You never show no fucking gratitude, yo.
They see your colors cause your attitude. So she's kind of saying that now people kind of understand and see who actually Chrissy is compared to before. It was kind of, you know, when you're in a couples channel or the main YouTuber, I guess it was Domo, like it's easier to kind of like hide a personality, but when things like this are happening where it's just kind of like, and what I've noticed is I guess both of them really just respond, you know, usually when you're being attacked or allegations are being thrown at you, regardless of their degree of allegations, you should always calm down, like calm yourself and then respond. But I feel like a lot of you know, Domo and Chrissy and a lot of people relationships online are very like hot-blooded, so they immediately respond to whatever, like being mean, and then obviously you end up regretting it in some cases because it's a relationship that is literally being seen by 1.3 million people. Like that's a lot of people. And so I feel like that's kind of like a thing that everyone should do in a relationship, regardless if it's a relationship, friendship, whatever. Just kind of like calm down first so you can go with it with a level-minded attitude.
with all the fake shit. Girl, you ain't shit. You don't make shit. I'm patient, cause karma coming for you when I waited. You baking, you smoking now, girl, like then you changing. Your face looks like what you want, girl, you...
Oh yeah, apparently Chrissy smokes now. Apparently. Like, I understand sometimes in relationships people kind of lose who they are. And not always. This is kind of like, you know, it just happens sometimes. Like, I've seen girls, friends, who just 180, like their personality just changed completely, and you don't really know them, and then when they break up they go back to who they were, and it's just like, what? Like, I understand you kind of like your personality changing a little bit because, you know, you're with someone else, you're with them for like, I don't know, let's say you're a year, and so obviously you kind of start sharing mannerisms or jokes or like stuff like that. Like, those things are fine, but sometimes when it's such a 180, when it's not like other personality traits being integrated into yours, but like you're just like someone who you're just like, somebody I used to know. I don't sing, so I'm not gonna try to. Cringy. I cringe myself. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, there's people who really do change 180, and it's because I think there's this like ingrained fear that if they don't change and if they don't like become who this other person's ideal person is, that they're gonna be left behind. And I think with the fact that we're like 8 bajillion people on this planet, I think that you should be entitled to find people who love you and who care for you for who you actually are, instead of someone who's just kind of like, whatever.
Basic, you wasted from every Friday to every Monday. You tainted, hoping you change, girl, like maybe someday.
This is like serious, like really serious. Like, you wasted from every Friday to every Monday. Like, whoa, that's
Basic, cause what we had, girl, it wasn't nothing. You said I was so easy to get over, bitch, you friend, huh?
So Domo is saying like, forget about me, like, I'm over you. Like, I'm glad that Domo is over Chrissy, because I feel like those are like a couple months of really like heartbreak, and just like, even if the thing is, you have to understand, it was a relationship of a couple years. Even if it's a year and a half, 2 years, they had a child, they were engaged. Like, it wasn't like, you know, it was a serious relationship, and so I understand that it was very hard for her to get over, and especially, sorry, if, you know, she could still see, and especially if fans were like sending her what Chrissy was posting or who she was posting with, it makes like relationships ending much more difficult. I remember what's Laura DIY and Alex Wasabi, they ended up unfollowing each other on Instagram, because obviously, like I said, you can't mourn in a relationship if you're seeing them every day, even if it's online. And, you know, they were both asking like, please don't send like what the other person is doing, because like I said, you need to mourn the person. You just can't be like, imagine you're trying to like relax and be like, okay, and you know, and then people send you like, oh my god, look who is her, like, they're flirting, right? Like, oh my god, look who's, like, fans can sometimes be a little too much.
Blind. Everybody told me what it was, but I ain't fucking listen, cause I thought I was in love. I wish I never met you. Ain't shit, bitch. Cheers to your future if you had one. You really.
And your new girl is amazing, and you're gonna have a baby, and she's moving in. That's crazy. Wait, what? She's saying that Chrissy is telling her that her new girl is amazing, that she doesn't need Domo anymore, that she's gonna have a baby with Mila, I think her name is, and that she's moving in. That's insane. Like, I don't really know how long they've been together. I don't, let's just say 5 months, I guess. I don't really know, but, you know, the thing is, if Chrissy was like a single woman, like no kids attached, then yeah, her moving in with Mila, like, okay, like, a bit rushed, but fine. But the fact that she has a child is different, because a child is a big responsibility, and you want to completely have 100% trust and understanding in who that person is before you put them into a child's life, because a child needs as much as a solid foundation that they can. And, you know, you just don't want to put a child in a vulnerable position. You know, like, I have seen a lot of cases of moms, like, both extremes of like just being with complete assholes because, I don't know, they think that they're never gonna get someone, and then unfortunately the kid ends up being, you know, abused or hurt. And I've also seen situations where the moms are like, they've been dating for like 3 years and they haven't met the kids. So like, those two extremes are very extreme. But I'm saying a common ground can be like, you know what, we've been dating for 7 months, you've met my kid, now we can start maybe talking about moving in or something, you know, or not even talking about it. Like, because you also have to talk with the other parent. You know, it's not a one lateral decision. One lateral? I don't know if that's correct. It's a decision that should be made by both parents, even if they're not together, because it's the baby still has both parents. So it should be like, oh, I'm gonna move in. What do you think of, or how should the situation be like? Or if you're moving in, at least, you know, I don't know how you would work it out, but just be open and talk about it. And I don't know, just really put your kid first, because that's like the most important thing.
The mad one texting me, you hate me and your new girl is amazing and you gonna have a baby and she moving and it's crazy. Woo! Back with her a week later. That's foul, but I'm not gonna do shit cause karma coming around. While I'm catching flights and booking shit, you bumming around. I will be happy, but you treat me like a bum on the.
Domo is saying that she's making money moves. That's not how the lyric works. I'm cringy. Get over it. Like, she's saying that she is like on the grind, that she is like, how cringy can I make this video? Me just saying like, anyways, that she's like doing everything in her ability to like be like the best and be like the boss, and that Chrissy apparently isn't doing anything, and the thing is, unfortunately, from a realistic standpoint, if Chrissy doesn't do anything with her YouTube channel, if she doesn't create like a different interaction or something like in those terms, she might lose her income in a sense. Like, she might drop how much money she's actually earning if she doesn't, you know. YouTube isn't an easy job for YouTube content creators, because you do have to keep creating different material for people to watch. You know, they have to diversify what products are being offered, because you just can't sustain yourself on Patreon and what you earn from videos. You should, like, if you have a, for example, merch, that also helps. If you start doing, you know, I don't know, sponsorship, stuff like that. But the bad thing about sponsorships is if you don't have a good enough content, and good enough, obviously that depends on who your audience is. And if you're putting out, for example, Trisha Paytas, her main channel, it's very much mukbangs, sponsored video, mukbangs, sponsored video, mukbangs, sponsored videos. And people do get tired of that, because when you are not putting up enough, when you're not putting out enough content, and you're putting out just a bunch of sponsored content, people aren't going to think that you're genuine. Now, people aren't, you know, they aren't cold. They understand that YouTubers need money, and that they, you know, if you're a good YouTuber, you're going to recommend a service that is actually legitimate and not a scam, and that you use or that you've tried. That's one thing. But it's just like, I lost my train of thought. Let's continue, because I really lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was talking about.
You said that you would never do YouTube with another. You've been acting fucking shady ever since you got a lover, and you claiming that you love her and you putting her out. Don't be surprised when she leave you, when she get all the clout. That is like karma. Like, can you imagine if that happened to her? That'd be like karma, karma, karma. Like, karma, karma. Drink every time I say karma. Like, ooh. And the thing is, no one, I don't think her audience got mad at the fact that she changed her mind, because she said that she wasn't gonna show Mila on her YouTube channel ever. Like, she was never gonna do a YouTube couple channel ever again. You know, she is, because she's not dumb. She, you know, that gets views, money, etc., etc. But when people confronted her about it, instead of being like, oh, I just changed my mind, she immediately went on attack. Not attack, but she was kind of like, get over it, like, I said what I said. And you gotta be nice to your subscribers, because play it how you play it. They made you. And, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, YouTubers have to, like, bow down to their subscribers, but they do have to be nice, and vice versa, because they're people. They're not just faceless money signs. You know, they're actual people who support you and buy your merch and go to your concerts and do whatever you do. It's just like, be nice. I was blind. Everybody told me what it was, but I was fucking listen, cause
Yeah. Oh, I've done. Okay, this is a very long reaction video, but yeah, that was something. No, I really like the song. I genuinely, you know, like it. I know that sounds like what? You know, I don't really like a lot of YouTube music, but this one, sorry, it's just I'm saving the screen grab. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this here. Would love to know people's opinions. Also, I bought this really cute They're whales. Can you see it? Can you see the whales? They're like towel hangers. They're whales. And this is such a weird way to end this video. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. And I liked it. And I liked the song, and I hope Chrissy gets, now that she kind of like, Chrissy, whoa, Domo, now that she kind of like, she can be free, she can be like carefree, and she doesn't have to hold this like inside her, hopefully. So that's all I got.